I didn't get paid for my last job and it's really frustrating because I don't know what to do.
We haven't been paid and we can't afford lawyers.
There has to be a better way of getting the money they owe me.
Well, you can relax, because there is a better way for you to get the money that you're owed. That better way is a security of payment scheme which operates in Victoria. It's a very straightforward scheme that can be used by all construction contractors in Victoria. You don't need to be a registered building practitioner, and it even covers oral contracts. The security of payment scheme means you may not even need lawyers. The process is sequential and strict timeframes apply. Just remember that you'll need to keep your paperwork in order and your eye on the calendar. If you haven't been paid for work performed, the first step under the security of payment scheme is to make a payment claim. You can claim for work, goods or services as specified in your contract, as well as claimable variations. You have to claim within 3 months of the reference date, and that varies depending on the type of payment you're seeking. If you're after a single or one-off payment, the reference date is the day after you finish working or supplying goods or services under the contract. Final payment, the reference date is the day after the final certificate is issued or you finish working or supplying goods or services under the contract, or the defects liability period ends. For any other type of payment, the reference date is 20 days after you start working or supplying goods or services under the contract. A payment claim is just like one of your invoices under your contract, but it has a security of payment statement which lets the respondent know that the Act now applies. So, there are several things you must do when making a payment claim. First, identify the work done or goods and services supplied. Second, identify the amount claimed. And third, clearly state that it is made under the Act. Write on it, "This is a payment claim under the Building and Construction Industry Security of Payment Act 2002. Finally, you have to serve it on the respondent, and the way you serve it starts the clock running differently. So make sure you check that information on our relevant fact sheet online. Once your client or respondent receives your payment claim, they have 10 business days to provide a payment schedule. This payment schedule must identify the payment claim to which it relates, indicate the amount the respondent intends to pay and reasons for any variation from the amount on the payment claim, and identify any amounts that the respondent alleges are excluded amounts. Well, you might be happy with what they say they'll pay. You might understand their reason for paying less than you want or rectify any defective work they've identified. You might settle on an agreed amount. Or, if you're not happy, you might go for an adjudication. What if the respondent doesn't provide a payment schedule in response to your payment claim? First, they now owe what you've claimed, and you can enforce this right in a court. On top of this, they might not be able to participate in any adjudication process if you start one. Now you have to watch the calendar so you can count the days from the date the respondent gets a payment claim, so make sure you check that information on our relevant fact sheet online. You can apply for adjudication if one of these 3 circumstances has arisen. The respondent provides a payment schedule and intends to pay less than what you've claimed. The respondent provides a payment schedule but doesn't pay any or all of the scheduled amount when it's due, or the respondent fails to provide a payment schedule or pay any or all of the claimed amount when it's due. You apply for adjudication by lodging an application with an ANA, the Authorised Nominating Authority, and they can be found on the VBA website. These Authorised Nominating Authorities are authorised by the VBA, which applies conditions of authorisation to ensure they carry out their functions properly. The ANA can help you organise the timing of your application and guide you through the security of payment process. In turn, the ANA will nominate an adjudicator with the necessary skills and experience to adjudicate the dispute. The good part is that there is no hearing. It's all done on the paperwork, which you can send electronically, so you don't have to lose a day's work. And that's why we said earlier, it's important to keep your paperwork in order. If your paperwork is in order and it's not a complex dispute, you can do it without a lawyer. The adjudicator will make a decision about the money dispute within 10 business days or 15 business days if you agree. This will determine the amount the respondent should pay and when. There's almost no appeal from that determination, and you can take it to court to enforce it. The adjudication process does cost, but not as much as going to court would. Both you and the respondent pay these fees, and the adjudicator can apportion the amount for each party. So what happens if the respondent still doesn't pay the amount due? Well, you can ask the A&A for an adjudication certificate and use that certificate to enforce a determination in the court. When you lodge a complaint in a magistrate's court or a writ in the county court or Supreme Court, depending on the amount owed, you file your adjudication certificate and an affidavit stating that the amount is still outstanding. If the respondent doesn't pay after you get a court order, you will need to take enforcement action. Legal assistance is recommended. The Act provides other options you can take. You can suspend work until the due amount has been paid. You must do this in accordance with the Act so you bear no liability for any consequential loss or expense to the respondent. To do that, you have to give the respondent 3 business days written notice of the suspension, and the notice must state that it is made under the Building and Construction Industry Security of Payment Act 2002. Another option is to exercise a lien. This is a form of security over property where one party retains ownership of the property as security for the performance of an obligation by the other party. In other words, if you have unfixed goods or materials on site, you can exercise a lien over them if your progress payment under the contract has not been paid by the due date. There is more information about exercising a lien in the fact sheets on the VBA website. So that, in a nutshell, is the security of payment scheme. If you need more information, please go to the Victorian Building Authority website at www.vba.vic.gov.au, and under the Disputes tab, click on Security of Payment. So there is a system that isn't hard to use, and you can get the money you're owed. Tell your mates about it. Thanks for watching.